Valtteri Bottas showing up in full McLaren kit at the Barcelona test was like seeing your ex at a party, dressed to impress and chatting with someone new. It didn't take long for the F1 grapevine to light up like a pit lane during a red flag. People weren't just curious, they were doing double takes. What was the man who used to wear Mercedes silver and Sauber green doing in papaya orange? Instead of storming into the future with a new contract announcement, Bottas was actually slipping back into a 2023 spec MCL60 as part of McLaren's previous car test. This wasn't some secretive trial run for a race seat. It was a completely approved stint under the McLaren-Mercedes reserve driver agreement, a formal, above-board arrangement that allowed him to get a feel for the car without causing a contractual blowout. But come on, this is Formula One. When a driver with 10 wins under his belt shows up in another team's gear, especially one hunting for experience and performance, the paddock's eyebrows go up faster than a DRS flap on the main straight. And while the official word might be that it's all routine, fans know better. Nothing in F1 is ever just a test. Valtteri Bottas quietly closed the curtain on his Sauber stint at the end of 2024, bringing to a halt a chapter that kicked off post-Mercedes in 2022. With Sauber prepping for a high-profile makeover into the Audi Works team, the writing was on the wall. Bottas wasn't part of the big rebrand. Come 2025, the Finn found himself without a racing seat, but not without value. Thanks to his deep-rooted connection with Mercedes and a CV packed with experience, Bottas was the obvious pick to fill their reserve driver shoes. And sure enough, that's exactly where he landed, officially on standby for the Silver Arrows in 2025. But if you thought he'd quietly fade into the background, think again. When he turned up at Barcelona in McLaren threads instead of Mercedes gear, it wasn't just a wardrobe switch. It reignited the rumour mill like a V6 hybrid roaring to life. This wasn't a stealthy seat bid though. It was part of McLaren's previous car testing program, which lets teams legally run older cars outside the tight grip of modern-day testing limits. For Bottas, it was a golden chance to slide back into a Formula One cockpit. For McLaren, it was a chance to pick the brain of a veteran who's seen it all, from title fights to teammate tussles. At first glance, Bottas clocking laps in a McLaren might look like the start of something more long-term. It's not far-fetched to imagine the Finn becoming a backup, or even a dark horse candidate to sub in for Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri if things ever got spicy, especially considering McLaren runs with Mercedes power under the hood, and there's a little-known clause that allows Mercedes to loan out their reserve drivers to customer teams. It's like a driver-sharing policy F1 style. That kind of setup makes Bottas the ideal break glass in case of emergency option. If McLaren suddenly finds themselves a driver short, say food poisoning hits the paddock buffet, or someone bins it in FP3, they've got a proven race-winning veteran ready to plug the gap without skipping a beat. Smart move, right? But let's not get carried away. Despite the social media frenzy that followed his surprise outing, Bottas isn't being lined up as McLaren's go-to reserve. That title still belongs to Pato O'Ward. The IndyCar ace has been groomed through McLaren's talent pipeline and already dipped his racing boots into several FP1 sessions. He knows the car, the team, and the vibe, and if something happens, he's still the first guy they'll call. So, while Bottas rocking McLaren colours set off alarms across the paddock faster than a red flag at turn 1, the real story is a bit more grounded. No, he's not secretly gunning for Norris's seat or auditioning for a full-time comeback, at least not yet. This was simply a win-win. Bottas gets to keep his reflexes sharp and stay relevant in F1 circles instead of gathering dust on the simulator bench. McLaren, on the other hand, gets to tap into his treasure chest of experience while gathering valuable data on their 2023 machine, just in case they ever need to roll it out again or fine-tune development ideas. Bottas isn't drifting aimlessly in F1 purgatory. He's already locked into his next chapter with Mercedes, and he's hitting the ground running. In an emotional and refreshingly honest open letter shared on Mercedes' official site, the Finn laid out his new role as the team's third driver. But make no mistake, he's not just there to warm a pit wall seat and smile for the cameras. He's diving headfirst into the deep end. Bottas will be present at every single Grand Prix, sleeves rolled up and fully involved in performance duties both at the circuit and back at Brackley. He's not just a backup, he's a performance bridge between the racetrack and the factory floor. From endless hours in the simulator to real-time data crunching during race weekends, Bottas is now an integral cog in the Silver Arrows 2025 campaign. And yes, part of his mission includes supporting George Russell and mentoring the highly touted Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes' next big hope. If Antonelli is being prepped to take on the F1 world, Bottas is now the wise hand on his shoulder, steering him through the chaos. As for the humour, Bottas delivered his usual brand of deadpan gold, casually mentioning that he spent Valentine's Day rekindling an old flame, his 2021 seat. "Love at first sight," he quipped. "Turns out the old seat still fits like a glove." Classic Bottas. Half serious, half cheeky, all business. Sure, Bottas won't be lining up on the grid in 2025, but don't confuse that with fading into the background. His presence in the F1 paddock still carries real weight. With over 10 years in the sport and a trophy cabinet boasting 10 Grand Prix wins, he's not just another familiar face, he's a seasoned asset. Mercedes, gunning to get back to the top, knows exactly how valuable Bottas's brain is when it comes to understanding the car, tyres, and those tricky mid-race strategy shifts. From swinging an axe to swinging by sponsor events, Bottas brings a much-needed touch of authenticity to a paddock often wrapped in PR tape. Mercedes sees that. They're not just using his racecraft, they're leaning into the entire Bottas brand. And if this season goes to plan, expect Bottas to be just as visible off the track as he is behind the scenes. Helmet off, humour on. As the lights go out on the 2025 season, Valtteri Bottas finds himself in one of the most unique roles on the grid. Not racing, but not sidelined either. He's in that sweet spot, close enough to influence the game, yet no longer weighed down by the weekly pressure cooker of trying to drag a midfield car into Q3 or steal a podium. His recent run in McLaren colours might not be a sign of a full-blown comeback tour, but it sure as hell proves one thing: Bottas still matters in this ever-shifting F1 landscape. Whether he'll make a return to the grid full-time is anyone's guess. And in true Bottas style, he's not rushing for an answer. He's keeping his foot hovering over the throttle, watching, waiting, and staying razor-sharp. In a sport where lineups can flip faster than a pit stop in Monaco, Bottas is the kind of experienced, ready-to-go talent teams love having on standby. Mercedes, McLaren, someone else caught in the chaos mid-season. If a seat opens up, he's one phone call and a seat fitting away. And let's be honest, this is Formula One. Curveballs are part of the DNA. Injuries, illnesses, sudden exits. Teams need contingency plans, and Bottas is as reliable as they come. He's not treating this reserve role like a swan song. He's using it like a launch pad. Whether he's crunching data with the engineers, burning laps in the sim, or making fans laugh with his deadpan TikToks, Bottas is proving that you don't need to be racing every Sunday to be part of the story. He may not be in the starting lineup, but make no mistake, Valtteri Bottas is still driving his narrative in Formula One, one sharp move at a time. Do you think Bottas is quietly setting himself up for a surprise return to the grid, or is he genuinely content being F1's ultimate super sub in 2025? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.